All right, there we go, folks. Those are the lineups. We've got Priest, Paladin, Mage, and Priest, Paladin, Mage. From
That's right.
Both of these guys. You know, did you know that Kripp's first name was Octavian?
I did not, as a matter of fact, until I just saw that.
Did you know he also led a Roman legion in a previous life?
No, but I'm quite proud of him now, and I'm actually really concerned for the possibilities of Reckful. But look at this.
The priest out.
Okay.
All right, he is opening up different this time around.
That's right. So this is a very, very big difference. He's revealing another deck right now. We only saw his Paladin deck yesterday. He decides to go with the priest. Now, on the other hand, I think kind of the speculation we were talking about before, Reckful may have even anticipated the Paladin deck coming out, so he leads with one of the decks that he's revealed, and it happens to be the Mage deck. Mana Worm, Polymorph, Cold Light, Oracle, which we'll talk about in a second. For Reckful, Azure Drake, Power Word Shield, and Shadow Word Pain, which is actually getting replaced right away.
Yeah, tossing the Pain's an interesting one, certainly, but Pain is a little, he's actually got to throw the whole lot, because of course sitting on a Power Word Shield when you don't have a minion that you can play is ultimately useless. But often you'll see the Pain used on bigger utility minions because it can take out lower attack stuff. You don't want to use it to, say, kill off a 1 or a 2 cost minion. It's wasteful in constructed play because you can only have 2 of them in the deck. You want to save it for something that's really critical, something that has some kind of effect as opposed to that. But he's decided against tossing it away. He's going to hold on to it. Not the best start for Kripp, I'm afraid. He's not actually going to be able to do anything on his first turn there.
Right, and the reason he was getting rid of those Shadow Words and such, he knows that his opponent is running a Mage deck, and it didn't have a ton of creatures that were inside of it, and it looks like Reckful is actually going to lead off with his Mana Worm right away. This is a very, very aggressive Mage deck.
That's dying immediately. He's not going to let that go away. The real reason why you don't ever let a Mana Worm go in that situation is because he knows his opponent went second, and the coin counts as a spell, meaning that it's an extra bit of buff. Mana Worm is actually more powerful if you go second. That's a really nasty situation to be in, especially if your opponent maybe has something like Arcane Missiles or anything like that. Well, out comes the Sun Fury Protector, which is ultimately not going to be protecting a damn thing. The Battle Cry isn't actually going to trigger, but he is able to put a Powered Shield on it, making it a 2/5, which is not going to go anywhere anytime soon, and also getting him a card. Okay, you notice there's an Ice Block in there. That actually has saved Reckful on several occasions. It's not a card that a lot of people like to use, but it actually really worked out very, very well for him in the past. So, what's he going to do? He could just Arcane Intellect in this position. Just kind of cede a little bit of board control here and there. He gets a Frostbolt out of it and a Blizzard. That's good. Okay, so he's just going to go after his opponent now.
And I want to mention there, as you can see the Cold Light Oracle that was in there, Reckful is a little more concerned with making sure that he has a card in play to necessarily combo out the deck at the end with the appropriate amount of damage that he needs, more than he cares about giving his opponent 2 cards. For those of you who don't know, Cold Light Oracle is a 3-mana Murloc that allows both players to or doesn't allow, it gives both players 2 cards. Under normal circumstances, you're like, well, I wouldn't want to give a 2-sided card advantage. That's terrible. But in this particular deck, all he needs is those critical pieces, then he can combo out and do damage at the end.
He's more concerned about having the pieces that he needs rather than giving the opponent the pieces that he needs. Firebolt going off directly. He is actually going for direct damage, which is not necessarily what you would expect, but we do know that Reckful is sitting on some nasty stuff. Holy Fire is drawn. Not something we commonly see at all. It is a really interesting card because it not only does damage, but of course it also heals. Mind Control gets pulled right there with the Azure Drake's draw, and damage has been done. Firm board control right here for the Priest.
That's right. Board control is there, but Reckful, as long as he can survive for a little while, is usually okay with this. Taking a look at Reckful's deck as well, I believe he does have an Alexstrasza sitting around, so he's able to get himself back up to that 15 health if necessary, or put his opponent down to 15 health so he can combo out as he sees fit. Looks like right now he's considering his options. He's got a little bit of board control here in the terms of Blizzard if he wants to play it. Looks like he's going to coin out, though, for 6 total mana this turn. Blood Mage Thalmos.
He's going for full nuke down. He wants to kill his opponent, and he might be able to do it. Bear in mind, there are 2 Pyroblasts in Reckful's deck, not 1.
Yes.
The other Mage decks in the tournament only took 1 Pyro. So, in this case, it is entirely possible that pure spell damage will be able to kill his opponent, but it's very risky. He has ceded board control almost entirely at this point.
And with that Holy Fire, Kripp can actually do 15 damage to this turn and heal himself back up for a few as well. And it looks like he's going to throw that Power Word Shield first. Of course, that gives his minion +2 health, allows him to draw a card. Now, this deck is actually based around Drakes, actually, for preparing. He's named his deck after it, as a matter of fact. Control the Drakes.
Yeah, there's quite a few of them. It's got pretty solid control in it. It's also got Twilight Drakes, which we haven't actually seen, but that was a lot of damage that just got dealt to his opponent. Yeah. However, there's some control in this deck here, and there's Ice Block. We've seen this before. He wants to draw as many cards as possible, get the Pyroblast and the direct damage he needs, and then he can keep himself alive with Ice Block. He can use Blizzard to hold his opponents back for a while. So that is what he's going to open up with here. I was thinking maybe he would play, in fact, he can't actually play his Kobold because he burnt his coin last turn. So if he'd held on to that, he could have gone Kobold into Blizzard, which would have actually resulted in 2 creatures dying. As it stands, that's just going to keep those creatures off him for a while. He's playing for time. He needs to get out another Pyro if possible.
Yeah, but we've seen he can build himself that time. Yeah. With enough Blizzards, he's got enough Freeze in his deck as well that he can control the board pretty efficiently, and all he needs to do is wait for those combo pieces to come on board. He's got a few of those in place, but certainly needs to do a little bit more work, needed a bit more card draw.
All right, well, obviously, next turn, this is a lot of damage. This is certainly enough to kill his opponent here. And we know that because there's a Holy Fire sitting in there. You know, even if he was able to remove a lot of that stuff, it's still a possibility he may die anyway. Acolyte of Pain comes out here. There's a Frost Nova that just got top decked right there by Reckful. That's great. That's going to hold that back for yet another turn, which is, I mean, that's what he needs. He's going to get a little bit more card draw by pinging his own minion. And an Ice Barrier comes out as well. This is what it's all about. This deck is about surviving long enough to pull the Pyroblast and kill your opponent. And the thing is, Kripp knows that that's exactly what his opponent's doing, because there'll be no other reason why he would be throwing fireballs at him instead of throwing fireballs at his minions.
That's absolutely right now. So Kripp's options are admittedly kind of limited at the moment. He does have a Shadow Word Pain sitting around if he just wants to get rid of the Acolyte of Pain and prevent his opponent from being able to card draw. Looks like he's going to just go for Temple Enforcer, heal himself back up as best he can, and try and outlast these board wipes or these board controls.
I mean, and he can, certainly, but he is also playing for time because his opponent is getting closer and closer to having the cards. He's 8/8. Can he pull a Pyroblast? He doesn't. He gets a bit more control. He does, of course, have his Ice Block right there. He can kill one creature with that. I'm just seeing he can't kill a second one, even with the spell power that he's got. He could follow it with an Ice Lance there. There's still a good amount of cards here, but this board is starting to fill up, and without any more area of effect, it may be a little bit difficult to handle this.
Yeah, that's definitely right. And looks like he throws out the secret there. Of course, that does state that whenever he is attacked, he'll immediately gain 8 armor, so it's going to help him heal up for a little while. There's the first Pyroblast, so we're starting to get there. Pieces are coming online. He will sacrifice that Acolyte of Pain just to make sure he draws an additional card.
Certainly, yeah. Do a little bit more damage right there. So aside from that, he pulls his second Ice Block. This is actually getting really, really good for him. I'm trying to think, has he got enough to kill? Because I think
Don't forget he has 8 armor, though, whenever that secret is popped.
What I'm talking about is the idea of Reckful killing Kripp.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Yes.
Okay, so I'm trying to do the maths in my head here. Kobold Geomancer comes out for the spell power. Yeah?
Right.
Frostbolt comes out for 4. Ice Lance then hits for 5. Pyroblast, it could happen.
All right, well, we'll see if he can delay for long enough. He's certainly drawing into those combo pieces that he needs. Now, of course, Kripp is going to attack into the secret. It will grant his opponent 8 armor, which essentially is 8 life. It's going to put him up to an effective 25 hit points. And it looks like he's just going to continue to flood this board out a little bit.
As ridiculous as it sounds, I think Reckful might have this one in the bag. Like with both of those ice both those ice blocks available, he's gonna. It doesn't matter how many minions are on the board. If he's got the spells he needs to kill his opponent, we'll have to see the hand to do the proper mathematics on it and try and figure out exactly how long it'll take, but I'm pretty sure he might have this. That said, there is Holy Fire. We should bear that one in mind. He's going to Unleash with it, which is going to give him a bit of healing as well. Yeah. So it may be that the amount of damage he can put out falls short, at which point he just dies.
All right, 22 health now for Kripp on Reckful's side of things. Oh, he pulls another Frost Nova. So he's going to be, okay, so what he's going to do, he's going to Ice Block right now. That makes his hero immune whenever it takes fatal damage for that turn. So it buys him another turn.
Thinking about it, he doesn't quite have the mana he needs.
Right, but he can Frost Nova right now, control the board. He could even Ice Block on top of that and make sure that he's able to survive another turn then and get a little bit more damage in and just continue to collect those pieces.
I mean, this is a tricky situation for Reckful right now because, of course, he can't let that board go after him next turn because he will just die immediately. He also doesn't know whether or not his opponent has another Holy Fire Fire in his hand.
I will say that Cold Light Oracle is actually not a bad play here, because if he Frost Novas, that's going to ensure that the entire board is taken up. Once you have 7 minions, you actually can't put any more on the board.
Yes.
So it's going to prevent our Priest here in Kripp from being able to lay anything else down. That means he can't enact any sort of charge. Obviously, he doesn't have any in the deck, but, you know, Reckful is not exactly sure exactly everything that's in here, but it ensures that nothing else can get placed down that will affect the board.
All right, there's the Frost Nova out. Everything is currently frozen in place. I think we're going to have to see Reckful start to nuke his opponent. And I think he shouldn't even play the Ice Block right now. He's going to go full nuke mode at this point and hope that his opponent doesn't have direct damage, which is fair. It's a Priest deck. There we go. 4 damage and then 5, and then takes him down to 12. He doesn't, but he doesn't. Yeah, he does have enough to kill him next turn.
Right.
Because, of course, Pyroblast is buffed to 11, and then that ping would actually kill it. Acidic Swamp Boost is not going to be enough. I think Kripp is, in fact, Kripp is. No,
yeah,
no,
he can literally only play his Shadow Word right now.
Yeah, that's a Shadow Word Death. It's not a Shadow Word Pain.
Right.
Oh, and he can't, he can't even mind control because the whole thing is full. If he could at least get that spell power away somehow.
Yeah.
But there is the heal still available. I don't know. This is getting really, really close here. But I'm pretty sure that Reckful's got this.
Yeah,
with 2 Ice Blocks in his hand, it is highly unlikely that Kripp is actually going to be able to kill him. He's
bought himself all the time he needs right now. Yeah. So, like we said before, though, he can't. Kripp can't even play an Azure Drake right now because the board is completely full. That's what we were talking about before.
I mean, the only thing he can do is Shadow Word Death one of his own minions. Right. Ultimately.
And he doesn't want to do that because anything he would draw into wouldn't be enough. And ladies and gentlemen, there's Frostbolt. We have Pyroblast up there as well. He throws out the Cold Light Oracle.
The thing is, he can afford to. He's got 2 Ice Blocks in his hand. He doesn't have to do anything right now. He's going to play a second Cold Light Oracle. He's actually going to flood his opponent's hand to maximum right there.
All right, and could throw out that Ice Block. Hopefully he does here in just a second.
Well, if he doesn't throw out that Ice Block, he immediately dies.
Right,
so I certainly hope he does that.
He doesn't really have much else for one. The Ice Lance isn't probably going to be used here. He'll probably pass on that, but he is going to be completely safe next turn.
Yeah, I would imagine that Kripp is going to know exactly what that secret is in this situation and is going to trade minions to get better minions out at that point.
And also, you do kind of want to work to make sure that you get your opponent down in health as close to 1 as possible before you actually set off that secret, just to make sure that it takes as little damage as possible to push on through.
It's still getting a bit close, though. I'm a little bit worried about it, because, of course, there's 2...
There's another Holy Fire.
Yeah, there is another Holy Fire, which is concerning, because that heal may push Kripp back above the threshold to actually survive the next onslaught of spells that's coming at him here. I think perhaps Reckful may have run out of time. It looks good for him right now, because we know he can't die for another 2 turns, but that may not be enough.
Right. All right. So Kripp's probably going to attack here in a second. He was looking at that Argent Protector there for a while, and it looks like he's just going to slam on home. He knows now that it's not 8 armor. And he's going to set off the secret, and then he's going to determine his possibilities afterwards. He knows what it is. He doesn't have 1 more damage to do. There it is. Ice Block is set off. That does mean that our Mage is immune for the rest of this turn.
Yes, it does. All right, so the Holy Fire is probably not going to be used as a result. And now he's just going to trade for minions, get rid of what his opponent's got, which leaves him with the possibility of playing other minions and also mind controls and things like that. And Kripp's hand is absolutely full at this stage, but we need to look again at the amount of actual health he's got. He can't, I don't believe he can Holy Fire in this position. He's got, of course, the Twilight Drake is going to be massively buffed. He can heal himself up to 16.
All right. Will 16 health be enough, though? Of course, as his opponent is immune, it's not like he can push through any more damage. Yeah, and let's take a look at Reckful's hand here. He has a Blizzard. He has an Ice Lance. Pyro Blast, of course, is going to do 10 damage. Cone of Cold will help control the board a little bit, and he has another Ice Block available.
I'm really worried for Reckful right now, honestly. The Blizzard is there, which is good, don't get me wrong, because, again, that's a little bit more control there, along with the Cone of Cold. But because of that Holy Fire and more healing, I have a feeling that unless another Pyroblast gets pulled, we might see Reckful run out of steam. Now, if we look at the damage right now, the Pyro's going to do 10. The Ice Lance would follow up the Frost Bolt. So that's basically 17 damage, but he can't play it all this turn.
That's right.
And since we know there's a Holy Fire, that could be problematic.
He could do something, though, like, Frostbolt, Ice Lance, Ice Block, just to get some damage in and hopefully get his opponent under 10, so next turn he can come back and try and Pyroblast. The problem is, again, though, there is a Holy Fire that's available, and that would put Kripp right back up to
along with his healing
about
power,
13.
Yeah. That would probably push him above that. So this is actually a really tense situation here for Reckful. He's been sitting, of course, on very, very low health. This deck of his barely has any minions. His opponent's board is absolutely full right now, and he's thinking about control. And that's probably the right thing to do right now, buying yet more time. But I am still very concerned for Reckful right now that he may not be able to deliver that combination. You need 11 mana to play that combo. I mean, almost seems like a Sorcerer's Apprentice, but there isn't one.
No, there's not. Let me just double check. But yeah, there's not one in the deck list right now.
Yeah.
Holy Fire's going to go off, and of course, this is going to restore 5 health, but it will once again set off that ice block. Reckful's not going to die here, but look at that. He's up to 22 health now, and this is getting out of control.
It really, really is. And honestly, I have a feeling Kripp has now got this because...
Holy Nova.
He was never able to finish it off. And as he said, he's sitting on a Holy Nova right now. So unless, say, another Ice Barrier comes out to keep him alive through that, and I don't think it's even going to matter. I feel Reckful is a...
Oh, all right. Top deck of Alexstrasza. It's not enough, though, unfortunately.
No, it's funny, don't get me wrong, but it's not actually enough. Because ultimately he'll just put himself back to 15 and then die.
Right.
So we're going to see a little bit more card draw come out right here. I believe he's looking for his other Ice Barrier. There comes the Pyro. And I think Reckful knows that Kripp has got him here. He was never quite able to finish it off. Those 2 Holy Fires were absolutely phenomenal for Kripp. There is the well played coming out right here. Throws everything else he's got at him, and that's not going to be enough. GG!
And Kripparian takes game number 1 here in our second semifinal of the BlizzCon 2013 Innkeeper's Invitation.